Wallace and Gromit is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and The Curse of the Were-Rabbit is what led me to also liking DreamWorks animation. So today I'm going to rank all their short films. To do so, I will also need to go into a deep dive of their plots. First off, we have A Grand Day Out. In this short, Wallace and Gromit go to the moon due to there being no cheese in the house, as the moon is made of cheese, Wallace says. Once at the moon, they meet this lunar robot who is angry they're eating the moon and tries beating them up. Then he finds a travel magazine and is intent on going back to Earth to try skiing, so he goes into the bottom of the rocket and lights the fuse, but he is blown out. Then he finds out he can just ski on the moon, so he does, as Wallace and Gromit wave to him while they leave. This film is pretty simple, and I like it. The moon being made of cheese, building a rocket in your basement. Wait, so that's where Gru got the idea from. I get it. Then there's the robot wanting to ski on Earth, and finally, Wallace and Gromit themselves are just such good characters as always. The music hits. However, due to this short being pretty simple and not really with a main antagonist, I can only give this an 8 out of 10. Next up, we have The Wrong Trousers, which may be my favorite Wallace and Gromit flick. It's about Gromit getting these robotic trousers for his birthday, meant to bring him on walks. Then an evil penguin disguised as a chicken tries boarding at Wallace and Gromit's, due to Wallace needing money, booting Gromit out of the house, and leading to the saddest scene in stop-motion history.
Good night, penguin. Sleep well.
Then he uses Wallace in the robot trousers to make him steal a diamond from the museum. Back at home, he locks Wallace and Gromit in a closet, but they are able to escape. The penguin, named Feathers McGraw, escapes on a toy train, so the duo chase after him on the best climax of animation history, the toy train chase scene. Not afraid to use guns either. Finally, they get Feathers, he is arrested and brought to the zoo, Wallace has a lot of money for arresting Feathers, and the trousers are now walking down the street by themselves. This is my favorite animated short film of all time by far, as it has everything you want. Thriller, sort of, really good humor, some good action, and some good emotion. The toy train chase scene is the holding out for a hero scene for shorts, as I see it. And, well, what more can you ask for? This was a masterpiece. Then we have A Close Shave, nearly as good as The Wrong Trousers. It's about a sheep who escapes into Wallace and Gromit's place. Soon after, Wallace goes to do his window cleaning business, meeting a lady who sells wool named Wendeline. He falls in love with her. She has a dog named Preston. Meanwhile, Wallace and Gromit discover the sheep, who they accidentally put in the knit-o-matic, making him lose most of his wool. Preston likes sheep rustling, though he tries framing Gromit, making Gromit end up in jail. This is a pretty sad part. Then they rescue Gromit and are all captured by Preston except Gromit, all to be brought somewhere. Preston doesn't care about Wendeline anymore, so he also wants her killed. Gromit uses a plane to fly to rescue them, shooting oatmeal out of the cannons and finally getting to the place of the action, which is in Wallace and Gromit's own place. Then Preston tries getting them all killed in the knit-o-matic, but in the end, he is put in instead. This is when Wendeline reveals Preston is a robot. Now, with his fur shaved off, he tries killing them in the mutton-o-matic, but Sean gets Preston in it instead, making him get ground up. Then Wallace tries inviting Wendeline for cheese, but she says she's allergic to cheese, ending their romance. So this short was also really good. The way Wallace decided to end the romance was funny, as was a lot of the quaint British humor. The romance wasn't overdone or anything, and Preston was a pretty intimidating villain once he shed his exterior. Finally, this is where we get to meet Sean the sheep, so how can you hate that? A masterpiece as well. Finally, we have A Matter of Loaf and Death. In this one, Wallace and Gromit own a baking company. Wallace meets and falls in love with Piella Bakewell, former Bakelite Girl mascot. She has a dog named Fluffles. Gromit has uneasy feelings about Piella and then finds out he's proven right, as Piella killed 12 bakers and Wallace is her 13th. When he tries to make Wallace realize, Piella pretends Gromit bit her. Then she tries pushing Wallace into a machine, but she is knocked down by Fluffles. Then she pretends to be really angry. Gromit goes to see Fluffles, but then gets captured with her, and meanwhile, Wallace gets a cake from Piella, who apologizes. Gromit and Fluffles escape on Piella's hot air balloon and go back to Wallace's place. Gromit shows Wallace there's a bomb in the cake. Then Piella tries killing Wallace with rolling pins after saying that she hated Bakers due to her growing too heavy by her eating and Bakers one day dropping her from a hot air balloon. However, Fluffles helps stop her. The bomb explodes the wall, and Piella escapes on a hot air balloon. Wallace says it won't hold her, but she says,
I'm as light as a feather. I'm the baker.
Wallace, though now knowing she was a serial killer, is sad, as is Fluffles. Later, she decides to come back to them, and they all go off on a bread delivery spree. Also, Gromit gets a romantic interest in Fluffles. So this one was maybe a bit too short for such a complex story. Also, Piella just wasn't as interesting as a villain compared to Feathers and Preston. I still liked a lot of the humor though, as well as Fluffles, so it still was really good, just not a masterpiece. I'm glad Vengeance Most Foul redeemed the franchise, but anyways, this is a solid 8 out of 10. So, in conclusion, all of the Wallace and Gromit shorts were really good to varying degrees. I will one day also review the films, but for now, I give you this. See ya!